always believe in yourself. You have to put yourself out there, level up in life. In the Level Up ebook, he can start there. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the second edition of the Level Up podcast. I am Jeremy Cornelius. I teach you guys how to level up in life, in business, and relationships overall. We're going to start off with my mindset and what got me to the point that I got to, just believing in myself, knowing you don't have to stay stuck in the same situation and play the cards that you're dealt. I was blessed to have a mother that spoke life into us, that believed in us, and told my brother and I that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. It's from the Bible, Philippians 4:13, I believe. That does something to a child that's impressionable, because we grow up, we believe all of this stuff. We watch all of these movies. We watch a Superman movie, and then next thing you know, we're trying to fly off the couch like we Superman, watching wrestling and all of this stuff. Those things are important to instill into a child because they are very impressionable. And what that did to me made me believe that I can do anything. So I was always creative when I was younger. I created comic books, ebooks, created characters and stuff like that. I said ebooks like they was out back then. Not ebooks, but just binders, like book binders. And I had teachers that seen the talent in me and, went to the store to make my books come to life. And so I actually got to physically see what my mind could create as a young child. And I take that to this day, and right now my business is evolved around creativity, so if you guys don't know, I own a company, CO Media Brand, and right now I'm currently working on a website. I paid somebody to do my website, so they're working on that right now, and when it comes out, I'll make sure to let you guys know. But if you guys want to, schedule a consultation, I help companies level up all the time. And most people, when they come to me with a company that doesn't look good. They have a vision in their mind of how they want their company to be presented, but they don't necessarily know how to. And that's where I come in. I do logos, branding, social media management, flyers, do photography and videography. And so if you guys are interested in that, the remote work could be done online, like the graphic design. But if you need photography and the videography portion of it, you want me to come to your city, there will be a premium for that. Anyway, enough of the promo. Another thing that helped my mindset, my brother and I, we are very, very close. When we was in elementary school, I'll never forget this day, we was like inseparable. So it's kind of almost like we twins and stuff like that. But anyway, people used to call us twins all the time. When we went to school, that was our first time like not being around each other. And so he went to his class and I went to my class and I just started crying. I just started bawling, because I know that, I didn't know what was going on at that time. I thought that we were being separated for whatever reason. I don't know. That's exactly what my mind went to. But anyway, I say that to say this. So I just said that just so y'all can know, how close we were. But anyway, so fast forward to our adult years, and this is the make or break times. This is 18. This is like after high school when you have a decision to make. So he joined the Navy. At that point, I wanted to almost cry, but I was kind of concerned because, the Navy and the Army, I thought that they were both the same. I'm like, dang, it might be a possibility that I might not ever see him again. He reassured me that everything was going to be okay. And if we didn't have the mom that we had, I probably wouldn't have believed him. I'll never forget this letter. Once he was in there, he was in there for quite some time already. I was doing my thing, back in the streets, and I'll tell y'all about that later. But he sent me a letter. I'll never forget this letter. I remember the title. It's called Stay Golden. And that is one of the reasons why the first 10 episodes I'll be wearing gold to represent that. Can't remember if it was a poem or if it was a letter. This was 20 plus years ago. What I got out of it is to always stay true to who you are, always believe in yourself, always have that glimmer of hope, that light at the end of the tunnel. And there was so many situations that I was in that most people would have broke, most people would have folded. There's so many hard things that I tried in my life that most people wouldn't even try it if they wouldn't have had someone pour into them the way that my brother poured into me and just sowed that seed into me, saying that there's always that light at the end of the tunnel and to stay golden and stay true to who you are. There are a lot of people, and I hope you guys got something out of that. You know, no matter where you are in life, no matter, and y'all need to really, really, really hear that part. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. People quit. There's so many people that give up on life. Talented people. I just got done taking one of my good friends' dad one of his memorial pictures because he gave up on life. I love him to death. Smart guy, smart talent, but he just couldn't wait a little bit longer to understand that the light at the end of the tunnel. You guys really need to understand that part about life, that there's always seasons that you have to go through. Anytime I talk to someone that doesn't believe the same thing that I believe in Christ, they always say, this is their number one argument, if God really loves us, why do we have to go through all of these hard things? People don't understand simple concepts of life. How would you know if you're going through good things if you never experienced the bad things? It's a very simple concept, man, but people do not get it. People think that life should be just on the straight up and up all the time, and if you're living your life like that, great, good for you. The hard things is what helps mold us. It molds us into the person that we need to become, not the person that we want to become. We all want to be this person, but that person probably went through something totally extreme and we don't even know it. We all have to go through the hard things in life to know that this is what it looks like on the other side of it. And to also know that this is how we avoid those things in the foreseeable future. They always say, God, we can make our own plans, but God is the greatest of planners. And that's 100% true. Just I like what Michael Todd said. He said, he was talking to this one guy. I can't remember what podcast he was on. I think it was the Breakfast Club, but he was like, if people think that, we see all these creations around us, like an inventor of Apple, there's somebody that made that. And we're walking around, who you think made us? Everything on this earth, who you think, made all of this stuff. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. And I am going to get some people on here and we're going to talk about, faith and stuff like that. And because it's a lot going on right now, and that I don't want you guys to be blindly following people, blindly following human beings and thinking that how they think and how they interpret the Bible is the way that you should live your life. You know what I'm saying? But that's another conversation for another day. We're going to get into all of that. My next guest, I'm locking him down right now. Y'all don't want to miss the next episode. So make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you guys don't know, I came out with an ebook and I'm like, what can I do? How can I share this information in a form to where, they can just have this information and have it tangible to them and live the life that they want to live by the information that I received. And because this information, nobody is going to go to you and just come up to you and just be like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. There's some people that will do that, but I love this saying, and this is a quote that I'll probably say on every single podcast. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Meaning that when you're ready to get the information, when you're ready to seek the knowledge, it's there for you. It's not that you it's not that it's not available for you, it's that you have to go seek the knowledge. Like, right? And most people don't become successful in business. Most people don't become successful in life because they are they just haven't got it yet. It's because they have not seeked the information out. The information has always been here before us, but we have to position ourselves around the right people for us to learn said information. So, uh, the title of my book, can y'all guess what the title of the book is? So the title of the ebook is called Level Up by yours truly, Jeremy Cornelius. And I would just basically put all the information, not all of it, right? Because I have to save some for students that want to learn. This is just a basic generic ebook that'll help you get started in life. If you don't know where to go, if you're at a standstill, if you're stuck, if you don't have the correct mindset that you need to level up in life, and that's going after everything that you want to go for, it takes a certain mindset, and that's what this book is about. So my first section of the book, after like all the introduction and stuff like that, is self-imaging controls everything. Self-imaging controls everything. If you guys don't know that when you level up in life, how you look and how you appear to other people is very, very important. When you go on a date, they say the first thing that a female looks at is your shoes, how you carry yourself, how you posture yourself. And it is these little things that people don't get, that they think that, they can just put something on and go out there and then just impress a female. For example, right? I'm very cool with this one guy, and I'm almost kind of like his mentor. I give him game. He come to me, and ask advice a lot. So there's this chick, there's these two twins, right? And you can see them, they leveling up in life. They getting their braces done. They're working on their physical appearance and everything like that. They, they're in shape. You can almost tell that they go to the gym. And this guy I'm talking about, he's very, very scruffy. It's the guy I was talking about on the last podcast that, he got a haircut, started the new year off right, getting a haircut and stuff like that. Those little gestures that you can do for yourself and build your subconscious mind to let you know that, you are becoming a better person in life. But anyway, so he's, still in the scruffy stage. He wants to, get in shape, but he's following all of these things that he thinks is going to help him get in shape. Like, for example, me, when I first started nutrition and stuff like that, I thought what everybody else thought. Okay, eat a salad, take a pill, you'll lose the weight. Do a little exercise here and there. But no, there's all these things that you have to study. You have to study macros. You have to study workout science and stuff like that. Like, there's certain ways that you live to build certain parts of your body. There's certain foods that you eat that like protein. Like, nobody talks about if you are a novice in trying to lose weight and nutrition, you'll see somebody that's like jacked or super skinny and fit and think that all it takes is for them to, eat a little bit and stuff like that. No, in all actuality, you got to eat more to lose the weight. You got to eat more to look the way that these people look. You can not eat, but that will cannibalize your muscles, and you will not look the way that you want to look, pretty much. So it's all about studying. Study, study, study. Any person that you want to look like, you have to model yourself after this person. And then you have to ask the deeper questions. Okay, why is this? Why is that? How did this person do this? How did this person do that? Even down to the molecule, man. Like most people don't get that part. Most people just do one thing and try to paint this broad picture and study this whole broad thing. But no, you need to like narrow it down to the millisecond. But anyway, I get off subject sometimes. But anyway, so I told the dude, because he's like, okay, how do I approach her and stuff like that? Or, I don't really know how to approach her and, I'm awkward and stuff like this. So I'm gonna break this down, right? I'm gonna use him as an example. And there's some people that's watching this right now that I know could use this information. And he's not he's not an anomaly. He's not this is most people, you know, you can look the best. You can still look the best and still be cringe to a female. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I just told him, you cannot look at this young lady and try to approach her in the state that you are in. She took it up on herself to spend at least $3,000, 3 to 5 grand to get her teeth fixed. And she goes to the gym. That's a daily commitment, or however many days she chooses to go. She's subconscious about what she eats. They have their water jug with them all the time, so they're drinking water. And you will just live this life of just really not caring. You're letting yourself go. You're not doing anything. So that right there is, you're not going to attract anybody with that. So if you don't care about yourself, if you are not putting the time into yourself, then why do you think that this female is going to choose you over this other person that's already on her level, that's already leveled up, and is at the point to where they want to be? Because the clock is ticking. I don't know how old these chicks are. I don't know where their mindsets is, but the clock is ticking. And if you already in the shape that you want to be in, if you already look the part, then that's half the battle. So I told him that, and I even sent him a picture of a before and after of what he could look like. And he hasn't responded to me. I haven't even had enough time to even see if he responded to this, but I didn't get any notifications. But anyway, yeah, it's some people, they talk way too much about what they want to do, but they do not execute on what they want to do in life. And that is the whole problem. Because if this guy spent the time that he needed to improve himself, to focus on himself, to build the person that he wants to become, basic hygiene, invest in himself, buy some clothes. He himself need braces. So he should already had that before she had hers. Now, after he get his, she's going to be thinking, oh, now he wants to do this. And then it's like you acquiescing to, what she wants. You should be a leader. You should have already had this stuff done. So that ship has sailed. So now there's still, like, if he chooses right now, he can fix his mindset. He can start reading, instead of reading all these anime books, he can start looking into like self-help books, psycho-cybernetics. I recommend to everybody. And the Level Up ebook, he can start there. Go to the gym. Everybody should have a membership. I prescribe this to everybody. Everybody should have a gym membership. And most people, they have gym memberships, but they never go. The hardest part is getting into your car and driving up there. Once you're in there, then that's when the time starts. You have no choice but to work out. Get in the car, drive up there, go in. There you go. That's how you gotta do, man. People make stuff so hard. So yeah, that, and focusing on his nutrition, finding somebody he wants to look like, and basically modeling modeling your nutrition after them, and then also studying nutrition, because once you get that nutrition information, then you have to tailor it to you. Then you have to start being conscious about and listening to your body about, okay, um, it's just this whole thing that you can get into, which I don't want to discuss on here because it'll take too long. There's a lot of stuff that I have to get to. Yeah, he just looked at the pigeon, didn't even say nothing. Didn't even say nothing. He sent me all these memes. He sent me a meme of somebody saying, "Get up and go to the gym." While I was, how ironic it was for me to already be in the gym for him to send me that. And this guy has probably never stepped foot in a gym in his life. But anyway, that's most of America, man. But if you're watching this podcast right now, you're not like them. You are serious about leveling up. We go back to my notes so we won't get off topic right here, because I know your time is valuable. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the part. I'm gonna go ahead and read this part about self-imaging controls everything. Right? I wrote, your life will never consistently rise above the image you have of yourself. Entrepreneurs who win at a high level don't just work harder, they see themselves differently. Their decisions come from identity, not mood. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple, he didn't just fix products, he rebuilt belief. These are the people, when I said that you have to study people, like, you're not copying off of them. You're just getting the information, and then you're making it your own. Most people don't. If I didn't have the information that I had, I probably would never started this podcast. I probably would have been like everybody else. I probably would have, been thinking that, okay, everybody has a podcast. Everything is saturated, and I nobody would ever watch it. But if I would have never heard that everybody has a story, but they have not heard your story, that's when stuff changed for me. Because yeah, there could be a million people with podcasts, but there's not many people. There's no one in this world that has my story. So that's the information that helped me level up and start this podcast and many other things, and my business as well. There's so many different businesses, and when you do what is it called, a business plan. In a business plan, they always ask you what makes you stand out. And this, I don't really like this question, because everybody's gonna just come up with all kind of ridiculous things to say, and this product is different because it does this, and my business is different because it's this. No, your business is different because it's you. Like, you're the only person that's been through the things that you done been through. You're the only person that could, structure the business how you want to structure it. And that's why reading is very important, man. I highly suggest everybody read. You don't have to read 10 pages a day. My life is not set up right now to where I could read 10 pages a day, but I have read books in the past when I did have time. So if you are sitting down right now and you have some time, instead of watching Netflix or scrolling on your phone, watching TikTok or conspiracy videos, you should be reading something that's going to level your mind up. Like, most people, when they start reading stuff, they just read stuff that's comfortable to them. They start reading stuff that's entertaining. They start reading stories about, mindless stuff, right? But what is that doing to it? We should be reading stuff about the people that helped build this country. We should start reading stuff about the mindset that these people have to, you know, that did the hard things in life, right? I haven't read David Goggins' book, but I'm pretty sure in my lifetime that I will read that book because this person, he put his body through hell. Do I want to put my body through hell? No, but I want to learn the mentality that he had and how he overcame certain obstacles in his life where he got to where he was at by his mentality. But anyway, going back to the book, their decisions come from identity, not mood. And that's just what I was talking about. You know, your identity, who people see you as, who you see yourself as. And on the last podcast, on the Q&A, I don't know if that's going to come out yet, but my wife asked me a question. She said, how do you handle, the haters? She put it in a different way, but that was pretty the crux of what she was asking me, and I told her that, haters is the easy part to deal with, right? But the worst enemy could be yourself. What are you telling yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you view yourself? That's the most important part. Just like these little things, just like the guy that can't go talk to the female. He can't go talk to the female not because he thinks he's scared of rejection. He can't talk to the female because he knows that he's not in the best physical shape that he can be in. And he doesn't do the hard things in life that requires him to become a better person. You know, sitting around watching TV, right? There's a lot of people that do that. And I don't mind, I don't knock, watching TV when you have time, right? But you should be going to bed every night extremely satisfied with what you have accomplished within that day. And it's like celebrating a championship game before you even won it. A lot of people do that. Like they sit down and relax and do all these relaxing things like they've already done the hard part. No, they're scared of the hard part, and they put it off to the next day. They put it off to next week, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And we talking about speed here. I love speed, man. The thing that's gonna help you get to where you want to get to the fastest is speed. That sounds kind of ridiculous. It sounds kind of redundant, but I was talking to a guy and we were talking about speed and we both got aligned on that, right? And so I'm like, okay, I need to get you on the podcast and when should we do it? And if we didn't schedule a time right then and there, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. Cause I'm just like, okay, anytime I meet somebody, when I go to these networking events, the first thing I do when I meet somebody, okay, bam, let me put you on my contact list. Let me get your Facebook because that's how we are all here because of Facebook. So I know you're on Facebook, so let me add you on Facebook. Let's become friends. And if I don't ever see that person again, because sometimes I forget who the person is, if this person could really help me out and I can help them, then I'm gonna go ahead and directly message them. But if not, this person is still the least in my contacts. I can see them, they can see what I'm doing. So if I ever need a service from them, they can, holler at me, or if I, vice versa, whatever. Anyway, the guy that I was talking to, try to get him on the podcast, he was on the speed stuff too, but it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. We still haven't done anything. There was still some things that, we had to do before then. But anyway, I'm here today and he's not because speed. I cannot wait on this person to do what I need to do. I made a bet with this guy. It's a challenge. It's not a bet, it's a challenge. He challenged me to do 6 months of episodes every single week, and I'm on the second. And this is where consistency will come in. This is where speed comes in, right? This is my birthday month. I He told me this the end of last year. I should have already did it, but there's some things that I've been working on behind the scenes. And right now we're here today. So this is the second episode. So I'm speaking this into existence. So at the end of this year, where we was at last year, I will be on that 6 months. So we starting right now. So if I had to wait on this guy, yeah, we would not be doing this episode right now. Let's get back into this book. Entrepreneurs who win at a high level don't just work harder, they see themselves differently. So there in the entrepreneur world, there's two ways to look at it. Working very, very hard is what like an entry level entrepreneur thinks, right? Entry level entrepreneur is like, okay, I'm gonna work 100 hours a week. I'm gonna follow what Elon Musk did. I'm gonna go in and sleep on the floor. I'm gonna rent this space. I'm gonna build everything. I'm gonna sleep on the floor, and that's what they think that is gonna take them. There's some people that can execute that part. There's some people that can withstand that part, but there's also on the other side of things, there's the entrepreneur that's like, okay, I'm just going to outsource everything and then have somebody else do it, right? I'm going to pay the people that's smarter than me to do the work. And that is the top level entrepreneur. That's where every entrepreneur should be at. The person that's bootstrapping it, hats off to them. There's a certain season for that, right? That's in the beginning stages, right? And that's where I'm at right now. I'm at the point right now to where I have to bootstrap everything. Like I'm doing, when you hire me to do the graphics, when you hire me to do the video, the photography, the branding and everything right now, that's me. That's all me. Websites and all of that, I'm not gonna lie, I don't do websites. I hate websites, and that stuff is outsourced, right? And I have the self-awareness. If I was a greedy person and if I didn't care about the integrity of my company, I would most definitely be, just like, okay, I'm gonna try to figure out, how to do websites. I'm gonna spend all this time doing websites. I don't like doing websites. And I'm at the point in my life to where I'm not gonna do stuff that I hate doing just to make some money. I'm gonna do the things that I'm talented at. I'm gonna do the things that's gonna help my clients get the best results. And that's how I'm approaching life. But on the other side, I want to get to the point to where I'm hiring people that can do it better than me. I want to get to a point to where I'm paying people that has more experience. They say that if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And I 100% agree, right? The mind is not meant to take on all of these things at once. Your mind has only a certain capacity. Just like when I came into this podcast studio, my hard drive that I brought here, it could not carry the load of recording for many hours, right? So I have to get another one. Probably if I was to like divide it all up, then and have more, then that would probably carry the load. So as a business owner, you are always want to get to the point to where you are hiring a whole team and you are delegating all of these tasks to the people that are qualified to be in these roles. People that are smarter than you, people that has more experience than you, and the people that can execute better than you can and do it faster. I follow this guy on Instagram. He's the owner of, not on Instagram, but on YouTube, right? I've been watching a lot of lifestyle videos of entrepreneurs. Guy that owns Raw Energy and Bum Nutrition, which is Chris Bumstead's brand. It's his brand, but he's the primary owner under his umbrella. But anyway, this guy is on calls every single day. It seems like that's the most of his videos, is just being on calls. And most people will think that that's boring. The average person would think that it's boring. But for me, it's showing me that you have to be on these calls. You have to put yourself out there. You have to talk to these people because the CEO role should be putting the people in position that they need to be in to achieve the overall goal of the company. And it sounds simple, and most people they will think that okay, yeah, that makes sense. That goes without saying, but you have to internalize it. You have to, like I told you earlier, man. You have to break it down to the molecule, man. Right? So I set my life up now to where my time is fulfilled. My time is being filled with things that's going to help me get to the next goal. I'm not spending my time. Yes, I do scroll sometimes. Yes, I listen to all the drama that's going on with, Drake and Kendrick, Sauce Walker, and all of this stuff that's going on. But I'm not living my life like that. I'm not, it, this is just stuff that, I'm listening to in the time being, but the majority of my life is set up to where I'm busy. I'm setting my life up to where my phone is receiving inbound calls. I'm setting my life up to where I'm getting nothing but business notifications. So you have to think about the lifestyle that you're living right now. Is your life right now tailored to your goals? Is your life right now just mindless entertainment? There's so many different life hacks, right? And like I said, I do, study what's going on today and stuff like that. Just because I like hip hop, right? I love hip hop. I grew up listening to it, and it is the culture. So, but I did set a time limit on my phone, and there's so many different life hacks that I had to adjust in my life to make me the person that I am today. And if you guys want to know, I'm not going to explain it on here because it's a lot. If you guys want coaching, I'll leave the link in the description. If you guys are at that point to where you're just so busy to where you don't really have time to do, simple stuff like schedule calls, schedule meetings. There's a way to do all of this stuff to where you're just not spending hours just plugging in all of this crazy stuff, and you can just do stuff like that. If I have something that I need to do, if I need to remind myself how to do something, it's just like instantaneous like that. I'm not spending no more than 2 to 3 minutes on certain things. Like stuff is blocked off. You know, that's one things. And the first person I met in my networking group, her name is Micah, and she is a power networker, man. I never seen nobody network like this lady does, man. But she basically, when we was scheduling something, right? So we scheduling something, and then I was like, okay. I looked over and I seen her phone. Her phone, I've never seen so many different time block schedules. Like you couldn't even see the screen. Like it was just so many. And I'm just like in my head, like I didn't really ask her at the time, but that it did something to me. I'm like, dang, man. Like I'm just barely scratching the surface, right? And that's when you only one person, man. So you gotta become better. And there's a famous saying. We getting ready to wrap it up, man. But there's this famous saying by Jim Rohn. Don't wish it was easier. Wish that you was better. Most of us think, like I said in the last podcast, man. Alex Hermosi, he said most people thinks that it takes this limited effort, right? This limited amount of effort that you put in. Okay, I can do this one thing this day and I've done enough. No, there's whatever you think that threshold is, that is way more, it's 10,000 times more effort you have to put in and the goals that you achieve. And I was listening to these this guy. He's a like a marketing guru. He's done ads for Brandon Carter. He's done ads for Grant Cardone and Alex Hermosi, you name it. But anyway, he said, most people they say, oh, like Gary Vee, he'd be like, oh, well, you need to upload 3 times a day. And then the guy was telling you about that owns Raw and Bum Nutrition, and this guy, I forget his name. His name is Danny or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, he said that he uploads at least 10 times a day. So that is almost like 3x of whatever the standard minimum is. There's people out here, you wonder you wonder why they are the way they are. You wonder how they got to that point, or we see where they at in this point, but they don't understand like the hard work and the strategy behind how they got to where they got to. That's why I said you have to not just study just the surface level stuff. You have to dig deeper in your education and in your studying. So like 10 videos a day is crazy, man. But it actually puts more out there. It gives people a wide variety. It makes you more discoverable if you do stuff like that. So and you have to study all the analytics and all that, of course. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video, man. I highly encourage y'all to go check out my ebook. And I'm going to be sprinkling in a little bit of the ebook throughout these podcasts so you guys can learn and level up in life, man. With that, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay motivated. I'll catch you guys in the next video.